All right, guys. Are we live? Yes, looks like we're live. My screen is over there. So, good morning. Um, so, want to make sure on my phone here that I am uh, live, and I am. Okay, so real quick, I at this very moment am talking to my really good friend, uh, Lev Orton. And I told him I have, uh, where's it at? I guess I don't have it, Lev. Well, yeah, I do. I think I took it back in the house. I have one of these spacers. And so I just sent him a picture and I said, I have one of these for you. And he said, thanks. So I'm just saying, you're welcome. I'm live. And I just texted him and said I'm live and mentioned you, so he can jump on and he can say hi. So I do apologize because Lev W is live. Hey, buddy, it's good to see you, man. So I really I'm compromised here because my live stream's there, but my feed is going to be uh, here. So here we go. I'll be able to kind of follow the comments here and. We have ourselves a live stream. Lev W, I see you now. Okay, so I'm going to put my phone right here. So here, I can kind of watch along. And so, so first off, I want everyone to know that I can't reload. I don't know how. I'm, I'm out here making a sad attempt at it. Actually, one step forward, two steps back. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. So let's see. We got Colt 1927 on. We got Andy 79Z28 on, and I'll keep calling you guys off as we progress along as I see you. So what I'm doing is I am working up my loads for my 300 PRC, but I'm going to tell you why I decided to have this live stream because I did not plan this at all. We have a full day planned. I have about an hour to mess around out here. So I was just going to get my cases primed, and I got my gin, my Lyman. Uh, there we go. Woohoo! It's all warmed up, ready to go. I was gonna go ahead and just do all of these before we go play, but I thought no, I'm gonna prime. I don't do my powder charging until I'm ready to do that. Okay. But I haven't warmed up. It's ready if I get that far, but I doubt I will because of the live stream. But the reason that I decided to do the live stream is I got to show you guys this. I just got this new Garmin Xero Chronograph, and this thing, it's amazing. I haven't used it yet, but I have used it. I actually this morning I got up and grabbed the box and I grabbed my cup of coffee, and I'm going to tell you this true story. I'm not going to exaggerate, okay? I'm drinking my cup of coffee and it's cold outside. It's still kind of a little dark. And I get this thing going and I put it onto pellet gun and I said, okay, let's see if it's going to work. I went out there and set this up on my smoker and I fired two shots out of my Benjamin 22 caliber rifle. Okay. I want to see. Hey, we have Cold Front 79 in the house. I want to see if I can pull this up. Um, Look at that. Right onto my cell phone. Now, I can go into it. It tells me my average. If you guys got questions, ask. I'll try and answer them the best I can. Okay. Okay. My first shot, I only pumped it up 3 times, and it ran at 409.3 feet per second. My second shot, I pumped it up 10 times because now I'm really excited. It clocked that pellet at 602.6 feet per second. It's breaking it down to the tenths. Think about that. This is breaking it down to the tenths, and it's sending it to my phone. And I have a place for notes. So when I'm out at the desert or I'm at the range and it's coming in real time on my phone, I can put my notes for reference. Fantastic. I've only shot 2 shots through this, and both of them worked out of a pellet gun. I have game. Now I have game. Okay. When I had positioned that, it was about here, and I had the muzzle, if you guys can see, about that far past it. Okay. It says to place the Garmin 5 to 15 inches, depending on muzzle blast. On my 300 PRC, I'm assuming I'm going to want it more towards, say, 15 inches from that muzzle. I know I will. But the pellet gun, I had it 5 inches, roughly 5-7 inches, and it clocked both trigger pulls. Now, you have to, this needs at least 20 yards. In other words, if you're shooting at 5 yards, it's not going to pick it up. Okay, I want you to think about something. Think about this. I want you to grasp this. You have to grasp this. Why? Why do we need 20 feet? The more data you have, remember, numbers don't, okay. Who wants schooling on standard deviation my way? I'm not going to go into it unless you guys want it. I need to see some yeses pop up. I won't entertain it. But if you want to understand standard deviation my way, I'll explain it. And once I explain it, you'll own it. Okay? I'm watching the comments now. WW says, sure. James Hill says, the Garmin's have been out of stock since release. I was watching every website every day, and Shields has them in right now. Some places are showing February 7th. I nailed the Shields, and I got it. Cold Front 79 says he is game for standard deviation talk. Okay. I'm going to do standard deviation. Because I know there's going to be a lot of guys that are going to want that. Okay. Okay, Mike. It's about $634. If this operates over time the way it did today, great money spent. Great tool. Okay. Okay. I'm going to raise this up because I feel like I'm ducking, and I don't like to duck. Okay. There we go. There we go. That's speed tag right there. Standard deviation. According to my world. It's how I grasped it back in the day. It does have a function. In your mind, say standard deviation function. All right. This chronograph needs 20 yards. You say it's not capable of 5 yards. It might be, it might not be. But on your mirror, write, numbers never lie. The more data you have, the more accurate your report's going to be. Are you with me? If we have 5 yards for our chronograph, we only got 5 yards worth of numbers. If we go 10 yards worth of chronograph, we now have 10 yards worth of velocity to work on. But now we have 20. 20 tells us something, okay? So now, standard deviation. Standard deviation is like you're driving a car at 5 miles an hour and you swerve it and swerve it, and it's going to go so far this way, so far that way, okay? Over and over at 5 miles an hour, you swerve the car, and you know it's going to only deviate. Oh, it's only going to deviate so far. So now we're going to go 100 miles an hour. And we're going to take that car, and we're going to go like this with the steering wheel, the same, get it? The same. But what, now think about it. You're saying if I take the steering wheel at 100 miles an hour and I clock it the same as 5 miles an hour, I'm going to be outside of what I did at 5 miles an hour. Your goal with standard deviation is when you take the car and you turn the steering wheel the same amount of times, is to have the car be tighter on the line. You think about that. Standard deviation is a root system of a number. The square root of 1 is 1. The square root of 10, 3.16. We went from 1 to 10 on our whole number system, but on our root of those numbers, we went from 1 only to 3.16. So now we're going to go from our whole number from 10 to 300. What's the square root of 300? Yeah, 17. I was going to say 16. The square root of 300 is only 17. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 10 is 3. No, it's not. Square root of 10. Yeah, 3.16. Okay. for 58, I don't have a bad brain. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 10 is 3.6. Square root of 300 should be like 50. No, it's only 17. So the incremental jumps of our square root based off of our whole numbers is tightness. Tightness. Where do we go? Here's where we go. You're driving a car at 5 miles an hour, and every time you turn the wheel, you get this much swerve. And you know, with the average car, if you go 100 miles an hour and you do this, you're going to swerve a lot more. But your car is a hand-built car. And when you do this, it's going to remain tighter. Bingo. The further out we go, if you're looking at 40% of your shots being 2,400 feet per second, there's a percentage that you're looking for to be in that. The wider you go, okay, let's say 2,400 feet per second. Let's just say you have 10 shots that are within 2,400. Now, when we say we decrease that, your percentage might be a little higher. But our goal is to suck that up. How do we approach it? Now we know what to do with it. We know what to do with it. The further out we're going, oh, this has to do with the long range application. You tell me, at 100 yards, what good's this going to do you? Do you some good? It's a number that you could brag about. But what are you going to do with this number at 100 yards? You're a deer hunter. You don't care. Okay? If you really, really want to frustrate yourself, apply it at 100 yards and keep applying it. You're going to be like, why do I need this? At 1,000 yards, you want to apply that. So what's the function? Now we know what to do with it. Now what's the function? The function is you have to learn to be precise in everything you do. So this tells you your number is getting smaller. Ta-da! You got to trust this. Does that blow your mind? Hang on. Not a lot of us are electrically minded. We're not electricians. But when you went and you shut your light off, did you have to understand that? No. You shut the light off. Okay? Now, there's ways you can be more fluid about it, right? Or you can be clumsy and barely get it off, right? Well, what you want to do, you want to get that light off with style, okay? So what you want to do is you want to reload your ammunition with precision, style. Everything you do is a function. Now we understand it, but now it's a function. And then what do? We apply it. How do we apply it? Trigger time, trigger time, trigger time. The function is the process of reloading, case prep, weighing the charge, everything to perfection, and applying it. Okay, great. So now we understand this. Now, what we do is we have a systematic routine of everything we're doing, all the way from a neck size. Whoa. When those cases were new, we did some prep work. One, made sure all of the flash holes were uniform. Two, may or might not have uniformed the primer pockets. Three, neck sized. Absolutely. Why? Because standard deviation, just not in what you're shooting, but from one lot that you reloaded to the next. So if I take a new case and I merely seat the bullet and I get X amount of chronograph and I come back and I neck size, am I correct? Your neck tension's different. Remember, to Miss North, all we have to do is be a fraction of a degree off. And when you get to dead north, you're going to be miles off. So your new case, check flash hole diameter. You're going to uniform the primer pocket. You're going to resize the neck. You're going to chamfer and deburr. Why would I do that? For the same reason we just said, when you shoot these and go back to the bench, you're going to chamfer and deburr. So now you're going to chamfer and deburr that new brass. What did I just say? Case prep, case prep, case prep. Okay? Now, follow me. This is very important because this is something that you will own. Then I dip it into my Redding Imperial graphite application media to seat the bullet. I want this inside of the neck for smooth seating of the bullet. What does that give me? Because that graphite is a lubricant, I will not, sometimes when we're seating a bullet that's tight, we can actually shorten that case by a couple thousandths, can't we? We want the case exactly where it was when we took it out of the rifle or somewhere close. Once we've resized it, whether it's a bumping back or a neck sizing, we don't want to change those outer dimensions. So for me, I'm going to take the cases, I'm going to put them into the dry lube, and I'm going to show you eventually over the next month or two, I'm going to prove to you that the dry lube is more consistent for seating your bullet or maintaining case dimensions. I will prove it. So now all my bullets are getting seated the same, my neck tension is the same, and the release of the bullet from the chamber is going to be the same upon ignition. Now, when I come back, the only change I'm going to have is possibly a bump and an annealing. I won't uniform the primer pockets anymore, but I will clean them out. And so now what we have is we have a perfect picture of doing everything the same, including we're going to segregate our bullets out through measurement of ogive. Now, the Hornady bullet is a beautiful bullet because these, when you buy them per the lot, you can measure them per ogive. They're dead on the same. I don't have to segregate these. I don't have to put these in piles of different sizes based off ogive. So for my Hornady bullet, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to buy some more of these, they're not cheap. but they're excellent. So these bullets are going to be the same. But if you're working with another bullet manufacturer, you want to make sure you segregate them out so they're all the same. And then we're seating off of ogive, not tip. My measurements are all off the ogive, ogive, whatever you call it, of the bullet. Okay. Now, this is what, of all this is the most important thing. Is all of this going to build in to standard deviation? Are your shots going to be tighter at 1,000 yards if you do all this? That's up to you. For me, all of these steps I'm telling you about, I am maintaining. But when I get the perfect load developed, I will begin experimenting with certain procedures in the process of this reloading journey. I might change the amount of times I anneal a case. Everyone says, how often do you anneal a case? No, guys, I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. I know guys in the shooting world that are much higher than me, much higher than most of us, okay? None of them are the same. You get competitive shooters who have been doing this for 40 years that say every third time. You get guys that have been doing this for 40 years saying every other time. You get guys doing this for 40 years that says every time. They've all arrived where they're at based off their experience. If I was in an interview and someone was interviewing me and they said, how often should you anneal your cartridge case? That's your journey. Based off my application, what I've come up with is I'm going to anneal my cartridge case one in every so many firings. It could be 1 in 1, it could be 1 in 2, it could be 1 in 3. But whichever one of those is going to produce me the best results, that's a wrong statement. Whichever one of those is going to produce for me the most consistent, there you go. And your standard deviation, the product of that is your consistency. Your job is to refine what you're doing at the bench so that your standard deviations on that side mean something to you. If I was going to work a load up to go shooting a muley or an elk at standard range, out to 400 yards, I'm not going to consider. I'm not going to really think about standard deviation. And you say, well, give me one good reason why. Well, remember, standard deviation, now we're able to go faster with this turn and our car hold a tighter variance, right? But if I'm going to approach standard deviation for the hunting application, just my heartbeat alone is enough to throw my standard deviation out the window, or my consistency in my shots. Does that make sense? So now you got some guy that's bench resting and the whole world sits on 1,000th of an inch for him to win. Now your standard deviation comes into play. That's how I see it. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But for me, all I want is that number to come in. That's all. When you're looking at standard deviation, all you want is small numbers. It's not a classroom. We're not trying to redo the formula with our root. None of that. That's already been done. Chronograph has that. it's just going to tell you a number. There you go. How did I do? I'm going to look at the comments. I haven't, the comments are way over there, and my phone is off. I want to see some of the comments. And I got to get a drink of coffee here. Colt 1927. I have a lab radar. It's up for sale. That's all I'm telling you. Actually, I'm going to use this a little bit, but if this little Garmin works the way it did today, adios. Okay, Lev, thanks. I love it. I just love Andy. I nail my rifle brass at every reloading. Why? Because I can. I'm going to let you guys in on a little secret on annealing. Take this for what it's worth. Take what you want, leave what you don't. I'm going to try and read into what Andy might be saying. When you anneal, the more you anneal, we're trying to get consistency in neck tension and more reloading. Some guys will say, well, I get less reloadings the more I anneal. I mean, I've talked to them all over the board, right? I had one guy tell me he does it every single time. Says, I kind of notice I don't really get as many reloadings, but my consistency is great. And he says, you know what? I can afford the brass. I'll do it. He's after sure precision. Okay. So there you go. It's up to you. Okay. Beho is talking. Well, my phone's not quite keeping up. So okay, here we go. Standard deviation can be helpful to regard to consistency in muzzle velocity, but you can have 5 buckets that all have the same muzzle velocity at 20 feet, but are wobbling. So standard deviation can't be a reliable accuracy, and I agree with that. It's just kind of a number that you're trying to reduce, okay? And some guys, in my opinion, they overbrag on SD. As soon as some guy starts talking about how low his SDs are, if he can't explain to me how that's benefited him, I don't really care. Okay, I really don't. It's good to see you, Vallejo, Mr. Walter. So right now, what I'm doing is I'm just again, I keep shutting my phone off. I'm just priming my cases. I'll show you guys a few things that I've done. I'm going to show you, how do I say this? How I hold my mouth when I chew my bubble gum. Okay, is that fair to say? In terms of seating my primers right now, it's like, okay, how do you seat your primers? Well, I do it this way, or I do it this way, and so when I chew my gum, I chew it on the left side. I tend to tilt into it, and I only chew so hard, right? How we chew our gum, okay? So understand, like with your rifle, there's going to be 2 different things you're going to be doing with it. Some shots you're going to be doing just to send down range, or you're out and you're just hitting a steel target at X amount of feet. Others are going to be for paper, those ones with the low SDs, okay? Hang on, so I can barely see my screen. Okay, I hope you guys can see this. So this is my Lyman handheld. I want to see if you guys can see that. Okay, my hand primer. I take the lid off. There's my lid, and I have some primers in there. Okay, this is a fantastic tool, but the primers don't feed as easily because for your rifle primers, they stand a little taller. Okay, so what I do is I just remove this. That's how I've always done it. And I literally feed one at a time. Now I want you to watch this. Do you see these two? Those are all primed. Those are on the bench. Do you see these? These 7 passed. They passed my quality control. What do I mean? Watch this. Watch. Did you see that click? No. No. When you get a click like that, you want to get the piece of brass sliver that was left. Okay, keep this as clean as you can. So this is what we want. This is more of what we want. Watch. Smooth. That made the grade. Smooth. Now watch. Well, that one, it went in smooth. You'll notice if you start tilting it off, that primer will kind of click into there a little more. Okay. So what I do is the primer goes in like that. Now with that just snug in the shell holder. See how smooth that was? And what we have is we have a perfectly primed case. Now that's how I do that. So I don't want to bore anyone. On these cases, these are once fired Lapua brass. Oops. Oh no. My battery. My battery is so dead. Oh, that's why you guys have always heard me say I don't care for the digital. You know, which I don't, but luckily, okay, I have 2 more. What I did is, I don't know if you guys can see this. I cut out little holes. I'll show you. I cut out little holes for extras. I had 4. I've already went through 2. I don't even use these that much, you know. So, all right, I'm going to show you how to properly change one of these batteries. Okay, we're going to remove it, the cover, and we'll dump the battery. Okay, there you go. Discard of it, however you discard of it. You want to slip it, don't put it in flat. You see that clip on the side? You want to put it in from the side and then snap it in. And now you see how that floats, okay? So when you put your slide cover on, you really should not have to push that battery too far. And so now I'm all zeroed, and I'm going to go to, there we go. So on my cartridge cases, 2.271, okay. These are all once fired, and 2.271. Now I'm going to just tell you this. If you seat a bullet into this, without putting it into this graphite media, see that? Get it on there, okay? If you don't use that graphite media, where this is 2.571, okay? If you don't use that, some of your cases when you're seating, you're going to push the shoulder or crush it about 1,500 to 2,000. Okay. So what that application media is going to do, that's going to help you seat like silk, velvet, smooth, and it's the same every time. And then when the bullet's released, it's the same every time. Okay. And so for those that are new, you get this. This is the Imperial Dry Neck Lube by Redding Reloading. And the other thing is, if you're doing a lot of 30-30, 30-30s have inherently very weak shoulders. This is a game changer. 30-30, if you really look at it, when you're just dry seating a bullet, every one of those cases is changing by at least, say, 1,000ths to 2,000ths, every one of them. But when you put this in, all your 30-30 will come out the same. All right. So now another thing, this is by Little Crow Gunworks. This is what I use to chamfer and deburr. Now, what I'm going to tell you, this angle is a little different than other chamfers. This angle I'm using on the neck of these cases kind of helps the bullet to slip in without affecting the outer dimensions of that case. Imagine this. Imagine you're going to seat a bullet, and this is not chamfered, and it's square. It's not angled on the inside of the mouth. Now we're getting into very fine detailed basics. Remember when we're loading a 45 auto casing, if we don't have enough flare, we're going to kind of crush the case down. You won't see it, but the case gauge or your chamber no fit, no go, okay? That's why some guys say, well, You know, 7 out of 100 didn't chamber. Well, you needed more flare. Well, if you load these and you say, well, 3 out of 10 weren't really where I wanted those on velocity or paper, well, you might have to address something different here. You see, standard deviation, very, very fine tweaks, okay? And this is, guys, I'm not a pro. You guys, I don't even know how to reload. And, you know, Walter, he's just pulled his hair out. Well, I mean, he has, okay? But I'm going to tell you kind of what reloading is like. Reloading can be like this. You see this? Okay. You saw me turn the knob. I will do it Andy's way. This is how Andy 79Z28 reloads. Ready? Perfect. You're either a reloader like this, or you're like that. I'm not saying we don't adjust this fast, but what I'm saying is everything you're doing is a micro adjustment by the increments. You know, 45 auto, 9mm, you know, bang, 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 bang. Get to work. Get it out of there. Go, go, go. You know, but don't forget the charge on every one of those rounds. Perfect. Your Dylan can go fast, but your Dylan, you want that dialed in perfect and be using a powder that meters perfect. So I hope this makes sense. This is just reloading to my world. So there we go. Any questions? And I don't ever want to, one, I don't want to be a know-it-all. Two, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I really don't. But I just think that sometimes, like, we watched a movie last night, you know, Abilene, Texas Abilene Eagles, how, you know, I'm my brother's keeper, you know. That's what we are. I'm not telling you all this stuff because I think I'm like know-it-all, because I'm the last guy that knows it. But I can help you guys. If I may, I'd love to be your keeper in some sort of information you might need, and I would gladly give it to you, not withhold it. Okay, so there you go. Hey, Lev W, I'll be coming up your way shortly, so I'm going to bring one of those, and we'll get it to you, and we're going to get a picture. I'd love to get a picture with you, my friend. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so I'm going to sign off because me and Miss Highboy are going to have a great day. Oh my gosh. And I'm feeling good. My asthma is feeling so much better. And when I get back, I'm going to finish priming these, and then I'm going to charge the cases. Do you? Viejo is exactly right. So when I come back, I might live stream and show the very fine details of, like, take a look at the bullet measurement from ogive to ogive on this Hornady bullet. Who wants that? Let me know. It's going to be boring, but I can make it exciting, you know. So let me know. Let me know in the comments, and I'll call you off. That'll be my deciding factor. Here we go. So we have 13 on. You guys are all great, and let me know what you think. Okay, Colt 1927 says sounds good. Andy says sure. It will be early enough because I want Andy on. Andy lives, you know, he's a producer in the workforce of the United States. He has to get to bed early. I want him on. Right? He's my brother, and I'm his keeper. So any way I can help him, I'm going to help him. And then oh, there they go. Cold Front says I'm game yet again. Haha, that is awesome. Okay, we're gonna go and we're going to jump in the truck and have a really good afternoon. When I get back, I don't know what time it'll be, you know, sometime this afternoon, and I'll try and just be very meticulous, and we'll get the my Lyman powder dispenser. I'll get that going for you. Matter of fact, I'll shut it off right now. And I will warm it up. So Andy says time for me to go down to the loading room. I love it. Okay, so here we go. We're out in, I got to go over there. 3, 2, 1. We'll see you guys on the next. Walter, I'm going to call you in just a bit. I just want to say hi. So we'll see you guys in a bit.